How's it going, everybody? My name's David. I'm the head video editor here at REACHRIGHT, but what some of you may not know is I'm also a youth pastor and have been for close to a decade now. So I know firsthand what it's like when you have to come up with quick, easy, fun, minimal to no prep youth group games for the students. And if you look this video up, you might be in a hurry. So without further ado, here's 5 of them. Let's get to it. A quick note here, these are all going to be active games. As a youth pastor, when I would look up game ideas for my youth group, I would always see a heavy emphasis on socializing. In my group, always really just wanted to be active. And so that's the approach we're going with today. The first game is called Cheeto Face. You'll need a minimum of 4 people since the students will be paired up. For materials, you'll need a can of shaving cream or a can of whipped cream. I think would actually be safer and better, but we use shaving cream. You'll need a bag of Cheetos, and then optionally you can have shower caps and trash bags for the students' clothes and hair. Each pair of students will have one person throwing the Cheetos and one person catching the Cheetos. But the person catching the Cheetos can only catch them by using the shaving cream or whipped cream on their face, no hands. Have the students stand about 6 or 7 steps apart from each other, and when a leader says go, they will have 1 minute to try to land as many Cheetos on their partner's face as possible. Once the minute is up, whoever has the most Cheetos remaining on their face wins. Any Cheetos that may have fallen off don't count. It's just whatever's left once that 1 minute mark hits. If the weather permits, you can play this game outside for an easier cleanup, but if playing inside, just be aware you may want to have a tarp down as well. Our next game is called Spit It Out, and ironically, that's exactly what you don't want to do in this game. This game requires a minimum of 2 people, but it's a last man standing style, so you can really have as many players as you want. For materials, you need 1 cup per student, some Alka-Seltzer, and Sprite. Each student will get about a finger's width of Sprite poured into their cup. You can either have students face off 1 versus 1 like a tournament style, or everybody can play at the same time, but each student will place the Alka-Seltzer tablet into their mouth, not swallowing it, just keeping it there. Once the students are ready, have everybody pour the contents of their cup into their mouth and hold it there. Remember, no swallowing. The reaction of the Alka-Seltzer and the Sprite fizzing up makes it extremely difficult not to spit everything out, so the last student who hasn't spit out wins. Once again, you could play this game outside for easier cleanup if the weather permits. Otherwise, you might want to have trash cans for the students to spit into and lay down a tarp as well. Our next game is called Water Balloon Toss. You'll need a minimum of 4 people to play this game since the students will be in pairs. For materials, you just need enough water balloons so that each pair has 1, but you're obviously going to want to do multiple rounds of this or have backups since they break easily, so purchase accordingly. Now, while I was able to get this cool slow-mo shot of my student throwing a water balloon up in the air and catching it, the actual video file of us playing this game got corrupted. Luckily, this is a pretty popular game, so I'm just going to show you some footage from another group doing this. Have each student and their teammate stand directly across from one another, and they must toss this water balloon to one another and catch it without it breaking. Once the students have successfully thrown the water balloon to each other and back, they can then take 1 step further to increase the distance. Whichever pair of students is able to successfully toss the water balloon back and forth between each other without it breaking at the furthest distance wins. Last thing I'll say about this game is you may want to give a heads up to your students and leaders that are going to be playing that they should dress accordingly for this game before they get to youth group. Our next game is called Don't Wake Granny. You'll need a minimum of 3 students, but ideally a minimum of 4. And for materials, all you need is a chair. For this game, you'll need 1 student playing the role of Granny, which they'll be sitting in a chair and facing the wall opposite of all the other students. The student playing Granny will then cover their eyes and listen closely for the other students. All the other students will slowly try to approach Granny without waking her, and their goal is to get close enough where they can tap Granny on the shoulder, in which case they win. However, the student playing Granny can turn around at any time and point to anyone they see moving. If a student is caught moving at all, they're out. But if the student is standing perfectly still when Granny turns around, they're still in the game. So this game requires students to get creative and be light on their feet. Ideally, you do want a larger playing space for this, but really it can be played anywhere. Our last game is called Blob Tag. You'll need a minimum of 3 people, but really this game shines when you have a larger group. And this game does require a little bit of a larger space. But there's absolutely no materials needed. This game starts off the same way a normal game of tag would. You have 1 tagger and everybody else is trying to run. But once the tagger is successful in catching a student, they then have to link arms together and become a blob. That blob of students now goes around as the tagger as the game continues. Every student that is successfully tagged must join the blob. As the blob gets larger, you may have students having a hard time staying linked together. And if at any time a student breaks off from the blob at accident, the game must pause and reset. Now you can set a timer of about 5 minutes if you really want to, but we normally just play until the blob has consumed everybody. And there you go, there's 5 easy, minimal prep youth group games. I know this was a quick video, but I know what it's like to be looking videos up last minute before service because you realize you don't have a game. So I tried to do this one quickly and hopefully it helped. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or games that you've thought of that have helped you out in the past. And while you're at it, make sure to like and subscribe because we are always releasing new videos to help churches just like yours. We'll see you in the next one.